Welcome everyone to the Feeling Good Therapist, where we learn different skills and tools that will help you in your own personal life and in your therapy practice. And today we have Zane Pierce, who will be teaching us a really cool technique called the experimental technique, a technique that you can find in one of David Byrne's books.
Thank you, Richard. I appreciate you having me on your YouTube channel. Today I will be presenting the experimental technique. We'll do this in the form of a role play, just to give the technique a little bit of context. This is the kind of method one would want to use when you're once having a negative thought in which you are making a negative prediction about oneself, the world, or other people. And it really seeks to test the validity of the thought so that you can find out whether or not it's really true or to what degree it's true. It can really bring emotional change in a very deeply felt way.
Great. I'm really excited to learn about this technique. And can you tell us what kind of role play we'll be doing?
Sure. So I'll be playing the role of the therapist. You will be playing let's just say a man in his perhaps late 20s, suffers from depression, has fallen out of touch with many of his friends because he goes through these sad depressive episodes and is having the negative thought, my friends don't want to see me, they think I'm the depressed loser.
Great. That sounds like a good one. Let's do it.
All right. Thanks. Jeremiah, thanks for being here. And thank you for having completed this daily mood journal. So I understand you're wanting to work on the very first negative thought that you wrote down.
Yeah.
And you've also identified the distortions in this as being mind reading and fortune telling. And the thought is, my friends don't want to see me. They think I'm a depressed loser.
Yeah.
What a terrible way to feel. And you talked about how demoralizing this has been and how lonely you feel. So there's a method that I would suggest for this one, and it's called the experimental technique, also known as a behavioral experiment. And I'm thinking that in this particular method, we can both sort of put on the hats of a researcher or even a scientist, because I don't think we know how your friends see you. And if we do an experiment on this, we can seek to find out more, to find out if this thing that you're telling yourself is really true or not. Now, do you have any ideas about how you could test this thought in the coming week between sessions?
Well, I really like that idea. I mean, it really feels true though. But I guess if I were to kind of like test it as a researcher, I could just ask them if they want to see me or if they think I'm a depressed loser.
Great. I love that idea, and I imagine that would probably take some courage to do that.
Yeah.
So I want to acknowledge you for that.
Yeah, it was really uncomfortable to kind of like do that.
I would imagine it really would. So let's think this through a little bit more, Jeremiah. How many friends do you think it would make sense to reach out to get into contact with this week?
I don't know. Is there a recommendation?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how many friends you've fallen out of touch with. I would think maybe, would it be 5? Would it be 8? Would it be 10 people? Would it be maybe 2 or 3 people who were once really close to you? It's really up to you.
Well, off the top of my head, I know I have these 5 really good group of friends, or 5 people in my friend group I used to hang out with a lot. And yeah, I think it'd be easier to just reach out to those 5 first.
Okay, great.
And see where that goes.
I like that. Yeah, I think 5 is plenty. Good. And think about how you're going to reach out to them. Would you be calling them? Would you be sending them a text message? What would that look like for you? What would you feel? What would you be willing and able to do in reaching out to them?
I don't really call, but I mean, I can always send them a text or message them on Discord.
Okay.
Like how we talk.
Great. I like that. And what might you say to them when you reach out to them?
I don't know. I guess if I wanted to test this, I'd see if they want to hang out with me. So I'd be like, hey, do you guys want to hang out? Or do you guys want to go do something together? I guess I can start with that.
Great. That sounds good to me. And perhaps maybe acknowledging that it's been some time since you talked to them. But yeah, I think doing that in that way you can find out, do your friends really not want to see you?
Yeah.
So you're reaching out to 5 people. You're going to contact them on either text or Discord. And let's just say one of your friends doesn't get back to you or doesn't get back to you in a timely way. What's something that's reasonable and balanced that you might tell yourself in the event that would happen? I think it's unlikely, but in the event that might happen, do you have any ideas as to what you might tell yourself?
Well, they might be busy. I remember one of my friends kind of mentioned a while ago that he was going to start this master's program. So maybe he's going to be busy because I know he works too. So maybe he's really busy.
Okay.
And falling asleep on his books or something. So he's not able to get back to me.
Okay. So acknowledging to yourself that people live busy lives, sometimes it may take a while for someone to return that reach out that you made.
Yeah.
Great. So is there anything that might prevent you from following through with this experiment this week? Anything that you might sometimes when we're afraid to do things, we kind of fall back into these what are called safety behaviors. Is there any kind of thing that you might normally do to keep yourself safe emotionally that you might need to drop for this week as you reach out to your friends?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of scary thinking about reaching out to them. I probably will just try to sleep to avoid it. I usually do that to try to avoid negative feelings.
Yeah, and it's so easy to fall into that excessive sleeping pattern sometimes when you're not feeling good inside.
Yeah.
And you're saying that's something that you're willing to forego this week as you're reaching out to your friends.
Yeah, if it's just this week, I'm willing to give it a try.
Just this week, the 5 friends. Good. And do you have maybe perhaps a time of day or in which you think would be kind of best to contact them? Would it be the evening, the morning, lunch hour?
I think like we usually text the most at night. That's kind of like when everyone goes on and plays games too. So probably sometime at night after dinner.
Great.
Like 8 p.m. or something.
Okay. Good. So you're gonna reach out to 5 friends whom you've lost touch with in the last several months because you've been feeling really depressed. And you're gonna do this over Discord. And as for keeping track, would you be willing to maybe keep a little log and write it down, each person's name and when you reached out and the response that you got?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay.
Let's see where that goes.
Great. And then bring that back to our next session and we'll review your findings.
Great. That sounds good to me.
All right, Jeremiah. Yeah, you can do it.
Awesome. I'll see you next week.
Look forward to it. Okay. Bye for now.
Bye.
Hey, Jeremiah. So would this be a good time for us to turn our attention back to the daily mood journal and talk about how this experiment went? Very eager to hear how it went.
Yeah. It went like surprisingly well. I'm actually very surprised that it kind of went this way because I did reach out to those 5 people, and like expected, the friend who was in the master's program, he actually took a little while to reach out to me. But when he did, he kind of explained, oh, he's been really busy with like work and his master's program and finals are coming up, but he said he'd love to hang out after that. So I think that's good. But my other 4 friends, they all seemed like really excited to talk to me and they wanted to hang out. They even were like, oh, are you free to like go out right now to get some boba? But yeah, then we played games online. We after like the next few days, and we just been hanging out so much. It's been really good.
Wow, beautifully done, Jeremiah. I imagine it took some courage to reach out to them and to make that those advances to reconnect with them. How did that go for you? How did it feel, rather?
It felt good to kind of see that they actually did want to hang out with me. But I know we didn't talk about this, but I did kind of share with them that I felt worried that they didn't want to hang out with me because I was depressed, but they all kind of shared the same sentiment of like, hey, we were just worried about you, and we want to give you space, and we didn't want to push you into anything. So they were like really understanding, and they seem to care quite a bit for me.
You know, beautifully done, and I think that's extra credit for asking them what they thought of you, having lost touch because of the depression, and just so heartened to hear that you got such an outpouring of support from them. I think that's wonderful. So that sounds like that was around 5 for 5, was it?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Great. So what do you think you learned from this experiment? What's your takeaway?
Yeah, I guess a big part of it is sometimes you just gotta like test things and see if it's true, and it can really kind of show if it is or not. Because I guess one of the distortions we wrote down was emotional reasoning, and I guess I was just rationalizing through emotions instead of logic.
I think that's really well said. So let's take what you said as far as what you learned, and I'm going to have you take your daily mood journal.
Yeah.
And we're going to see if we can craft this into a positive thought that you can tell yourself, as opposed to my friends don't want to see me, they think I'm a depressed loser.
Well, also thought might be something like, my friends actually did want to see me. I reached out to 5 of them, and one of them was busy but really wanted to hang out afterwards. But the others, they just wanted to hang out immediately after you've been hanging out every single day, sometimes in person, sometimes like playing games online and through Discord. So part of this is I think they do want to see me, and they don't think I'm a depressed loser because they seem to really care about me, and they even kind of expressed they had more concern, and they were kind of keeping their distance because they wanted to give me space, and they didn't know how much to like push because they didn't want to make me feel guilty or bad or anything. So
Sure.
they actually care quite a bit about me.
Great.
They don't really think I'm a loser.
So we can kind of summarize that. My friends don't think I'm a loser. When I reached out to them, they reached back, and we hung out quite a bit.
I think that's a really good way to summarize it. Should I write it down?
Yeah, you go ahead and write that down, and I'll write it down with you.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well,
let me ask you this before we pause the role play, Jeremiah. How much do you believe this positive thought that you put?
I mean, it's hard not to believe it. I mean, I asked them, and we talked about it, so it's definitely 100%.
100% good. So write that down in the belief column, and let's have you re-estimate the original thought that was the thing you were telling yourself that was really kind of bringing you down and really kind of driving this feeling of loneliness and discouragement. My friends don't want to see me. They think I'm a depressed loser. How true does that seem now in the light of what you've just described and written down?
Gosh, that's not true at all. I mean, after doing this experiment, it's obvious it's not true. So probably 0.
0. Great. Well done.
Awesome. Well, let's pause right here. Well, thanks everyone for watching this technique, the experimental technique, really well conducted by Zane Pierce. And if you want to learn more about Zane, you can look at his information below. And if you want to learn more about these skills and techniques, feel free to subscribe to this channel. It's been a pleasure being able to demonstrate this with everyone.
Thanks for watching.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.